age, but this work is a masterpiece. Right, so we begin with Emily Bronte's Wuthering Heights. Before that, you can switch on your videos and we can have our class photo first, and after that I would continue with Wuthering Heights. I will give you the presentation. Right, so as we do so, whenever you read any literature, what you need to do first of all is see when the work was published. To which age does this author belong to? Once you get the idea of to which age this writer belongs to, see the social features, social characteristics of that age. What was society like? See the political condition of that place. See the history of that place, because history, political condition, the scientific developments that have taken place all around. For example, in this old literature, you never find mobile phone, you never find phones also, because that was not invented at that time. So how technology impacted literature, that again is a source of is a topic of interest, right? So this was a period when technologically nothing much was there, and the society was just it belonged to agrarian. The society was agrarian society. The source of income was agriculture, right? Industries were just a new phenomena, it was just coming up. Industries were made, middle class people, a new class, that is middle class, was generated. Before that there was no middle class. They were either aristocratic class or they were common people who worked in fields as laborers. That means you can say low class. Right? So when industries came up, with industries rose middle class in the society, because these were the people who were educated, who worked in industries and factories as workers, as laborers, as well as middle level management they did, right? Managers. So this class, then traveling was very frequent. The people because Britain had started making colonies in Asian countries and in all over the world, in African countries. So these culture, they were affected by the culture of other lands also, right? So a lot of traveling had exposed them to different kinds of societies. So that is also reflected in the literature. Now coming to the presentation, with the presentation it becomes easy to understand, because this is a very large novel with too many characters, and unlike Tom Jones, it is not a simple novel. Just remember that. I told you, Tom Jones is a very can you see the presentation?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
But this is not what I wanted to show you. No. Let me do it again. Just wait. So what I was saying, uh, just wait. Just hold on for a second. There are so many characters in Tom Jones. Also, you found that there were so many characters, but here in this case, just wait. I'm almost into it. Yeah, I think this should be visible to you. Do you see the presentation now?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
If it's visible to some, that means I have not made any mistake and it should be visible to all. Is it now visible
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
to all
Yes,
of you?
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
See that's visible.
it's visible. Then to whom is it not visible? Ashi?
Yes, ma'am. It's not visible to me.
That means you have not
I have
got proper
network issue.
signals. Yeah, it's network issue.
Yes, ma'am. Mama, can I
Okay.
rejoin?
Yeah, you may rejoin. You may rejoin, and rest of all can take the pictures. If something is not visible at present, then later on you can post it on WhatsApp, and from there those who could not see now can study. Okay. Ashi, have you joined?
Yes, ma'am, it's visible now.
It's
Thank you, ma'am.
visible now. Okay. So see the picture that I have selected for Wuthering Heights. This shows that there is no industry, there is no pollution. That was the time when population was also not overloaded on this earth, and it's some remote area. Lot of trees, lot of wild nature. This is important for Wuthering Heights. You know, our nature also, if it is untamed, then we often go wild in our passion. So this is a story of passion. So raw nature. Got it? Did you get the point? That how nature is related with human nature. Physical nature is related with human nature. When our passions are unbridled, there is no one to hold on to the passions, to the emotions, right? We work on our impulses. Then it is something like the raw nature, where there is no cultivation. It is just as it is, as God made it. So that is what the novel is about. You will see that how. First of all, you have to see that there are different kinds of novels, and the novel that we are going to study is a romantic novel. It's a revenge novel. Now see how love and revenge, they are related to each other. One falls in love, but one does not get what he wants. When the love is not accepted, then how things can go sour, and then it becomes story of revenge. So this is what this novel is all about. It's novel of revenge. It's a novel about romantic love. It tells the stories of two families. There are Anshaws here, and there are Lintons. Anshaws live at Heights. That is the name of a place. They own that place. They have peasants. As I said earlier, there was no middle class. So Anshaws, they live at Heights, and it is at the edge of moods. Moods means just nature. Nothing is cultivated there, it's natural. Then the second place is Thrushcross Grang. Thrushcross Grang is a place which is owned by Lintons. Now these Lintons, they are very refined. That means they are in touch with the developments of the world. They are in touch with the industrialization that has just begun. They are the ones who have gained knowledge about other civilizations and are impacted by other civilizations, so they have refined us themselves. So Earnshaws, they are a bit raw, and they are feudal lords, and Lintons, they are very refined. Okay, so two places, lots of names you will have to remember in this novel. First is Heights, and second is Thrushcross Crag. Heights is owned by Earnshaw family, and Thrushcross Crag, you will call it Grang now, it's a very long name. So Grang is owned by Lintons. Lintons are refined, and Earnshaws are bit raw. Now Mr. Earnshaw one day happens to find a baby, foundling. Again you see this term, foundling, one who is orphan. We do not know about his parents, right? So Earnshaws bring home a foundling to live in a family, and this arouses very complicated feelings in people. Some are jealous, some feel rivalry, others feel okay, we can connect. This family has another girl named Catherine. Now, this boy, the foundling, is Heathcliff. And Catherine is a girl who is already present. They are growing together, and here Heathcliff falls in love with Catherine. Right now, Catherine enjoys the attention. This is the habit of growing girls, you enjoy attention. So Catherine enjoys attention of Heathcliff as well as son of Linton. That Linton family who is living close by, they have the son Edgar. Right. So Edgar and Heathcliff, they both are in love with Catherine. They want response from Catherine, and Catherine is more attracted towards Linton, and she finally marries Linton. That means Heathcliff is rejected in love. Now, because of being rejected in love, he leaves that place to make his fortune. Now, this is very important, to make his fortune. See, Heathcliff is not rooted anywhere. He does not belong to feudal family. Feudal family has adopted him. He's adopted son of Earnshaws. He's adopted son of a feudal family. By feudal, I mean someone who has so much of zamindar. Feudal is zamindari. They have so much of land and so much of wealth that they do not feel any need to study, to move out of the place of their birth, and so they are not refined also. Right. So Heathcliff, he is rejected by the daughter of this family. So he leaves this place to make his fortune. Make his fortune means he wants to travel. Now this Heathcliff belongs to middle class, you may say. He travels in order to earn money, to make fortune, to earn money, to become rich. So by the time he returns, he sees that Catherine is married to Edgar. She doesn't wait for Heathcliff to earn money, to be settled, and then marry her. She in turn marries Edgar Linton. But then that passion she had for Heathcliff, this does not die. It's much like Bollywood films that we see. Okay, now after this, but this is complicated now, that Catherine is married to Edgar Linton, but then she is attached to Heathcliff. Heathcliff has returned back to this Earnshaw family, and now he wants to take revenge. He is bitter of being rejected in love, so he wants to take revenge on whom? On Earnshaw as well as on Linton's. Now, this is a story of the first generation. Again, this novel is Bildungsroman, and it goes on and on. It's the story of three generations. Now, in the second generation, a daughter is born whose name is Catherine, and this Catherine, again Catherine, the name is same. This Catherine is called Cathy, in short. And then there is Hareton Earnshaw. They survive to go beyond this destructive passion in their mutual love. These two people are in love. I know now at present you would not be able to remember all these names. I have made map also so that it will be easy to understand, but at present you can just listen to it and try to understand as much as possible. Right? What the structure of novel is like? It's very rich. Rich in what way? Much of nature description is there. So many characters are there. Each character has got different temperament. So, and the language is very, the writer has very good command over language. And since it's a story of three generations and everyone falling in love with the family, and then a lot of love triangles and everything, so this novel is very complex also. Two generations are shown. It's mainly a story of two generations, but third generation is also born. So how the themes and relationships of first generation, they reflect in second. You see that in the first generation, people have little command over their passions, and their decision taking power also seems to be weak. But this is not found in second generation. This again is something to do with like here we have nowadays that young people, you people are smarter than us, right? In the same way. So they have differences in they have differences with each other, their different attitudes, and this increases our understanding. We readers understand that how many kinds of temperaments are there, and how the relationships are formed, they are broken, how they are treated. So this is what we get to know about this from this novel. Who tells the story? Whenever you read the novel, you see that whose point of view is there, because your story, we may be reading same we may be narrating same experience, but your experience is going to be different from mine. So we have our own point of view, our own opinion, and on that depends our narration, in what way we narrate the same story. So who are the narrators here? There are two main narrators in the story. As we go on with the story, we will see that. I am not going to discuss that now. Okay, so the main characters are seen through series of mirrors. What is series of mirrors? Just let me give you example, something philosophical I may say. We have seen moon, right, in the sky. Okay, when we see moon in the sky, it appears same to all of us. But then you bring that बाउल या कोई भी बर्तन लेकर आइए पानी से भरा हुआ, और उसमें आप मून को देखिए, करवा चौथ में जैसे देखते हैं, right? Now this moon will appear different to different people. It will not be the original one. In the same way, a character may have some characteristics, but we see that character in different ways. For someone, someone may feel that Ashi is very arrogant. Someone will feel no, Ashi has got a lot of knowledge. Others, someone may say, see, Niharika talks in this way and that way ना, कोई और निहारिका के बारे में कुछ और बोलेगा. तो इस तरह से हर किसी का नेचर डिपेंड करता है कि हम उसको किस तरह से देख रहे हैं. तो वो हम जिस तरह से देख रहे हैं, that is mirror. Okay, and so when we see in the mirror, there is some kind of distortion. We do not see a complete picture as it is in the mirror. So without an omniscient voice controlling sympathies, the reader must get inside the character's mind. If we want to see the things without distortion, we should not be controlled by who's telling the story. Okay, we have to penetrate into the minds of the characters and see it from different angles and then analyze. This is what we see in the story. So there is complex web of relationships, and they have different motives. Like motive for Heathcliff is that he has to take revenge. So with these motives, aims, so this novel is very much open to intense psychological analysis. We can analyze the characters in the novel psychologically, because their deepest feelings are being given by Emily Bronte in the novel. Shall I change the slide now? May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Now this is something about industrial revolution that I wanted to tell, because this has got nothing to do with the story of the novel. But yes, it was a time when the feudal society was breaking up and industries were set up. So this has also impacted the novel. When did this happen? This happened in the last quarter of the 18th century when the novel was published. So just you can this other I'm giving so that you can just relate with the incidents that are taking place in the novel. You, whenever you read the novel, you have to go into that world. अगर आज आप 21st सेंचुरी में बैठ करके फिर आप 18th सेंचुरी में दुनिया कैसी थी ये जानना चाहते हैं तो आपको इमेजिन करना पड़ेगा कि आप 18th सेंचुरी में पहुंच गए हैं। जब आप मेंटली 18th सेंचुरी में पहुंच जाएंगे तब आप समझ पाएंगे ओके व्हाई दिस कैरेक्टर इज सेइंग दिस एंड व्हाई दिस कैरेक्टर इज एक्टिंग इन दिस वे, right? So this industrial revolution that had come in last quarter of 18th century and it continued in the first half of the 19th century. Okay, so 19th century means 1800s. So this was a period when there was much of social change in England, much of economic changes were taking place, and with society, with economy changing, culture of England was also changing. This industrial revolution, we can say, lasted for say some 75 years. And in these 75 years, England became the most powerful imperial nation. Imperial nation means at one time more than half of the world was ruled by England. More than half of the world. Whole of the Africa, much of the Asian countries, even Western countries, they were ruled by England. England had made colonies all over the world. So it had emerged as the most powerful imperial nation. Right, so it was also said the sun never sets over empire. Why? Because empire was expanded all over the globe, so there was no sunset in British Empire. So many industries were set up because they used to bring raw material and put it into industries to make products. So industrialization all over the world was brought by these people, and then the capitalism was came into existence because when industries were owned by a few people and there were only workers, so this was a new rich class, neo rich, that came into existence. There were feudal lords, but then came capitalist society and came these businessmen. So they were somewhere it was boom for them. They were becoming very fast. They were becoming rich. Somewhere it was slump because these workers they were not paid enough in industries. So they were struggling. They were becoming poor. They didn't have land to cultivate. They had left their villages, come to the cities that were newly emerging now. So again there was class conflict.